Hi.
I'm Jambo.
Welcome to another fantastic episode.
Yes. Of adult conversations with the Jessies.
Yes. We are adulting this life. We have chosen to adult this life regardless of how adulting is supposedly hard. So welcome to today's show. What are we talking about today?
Intimacy. Yeah, it's not a tidin, it's a can we talk
For a minute.
for a minute? Pale kwa mvua, kwa kibandaski,
Oh my gosh.
kwa 5-star. Penye tu mtapatana.
Boda boda.
Bana, boda.
Mturaman.
Wenda sana lakini sawa pia.
Sini boda boda. Anywho, gosh. So today's topic of intimacy is we're hoping to share a different perspective for your consideration. So for most of us, intimacy is only defined or described in the context of a sexual connection with another person. So as a result, many times we feel that, and the longer you're married, there are probably seasons when you're not always, getting sexually together.
Because you're adulting half the time.
I know, because you're so busy adulting, so maybe like when you're single and dating, it might be a lot. Maybe when in your early years of marriage, but as more responsibility comes, for example, children or changes of jobs, or whatever it is that now you and your partner are building, it begins to take up time as well. And so a lot of people feel that, okay, at this point, now that we're not having, as much sex as we were, maybe there's something wrong with our relationship. A lot of people begin to disconnect from each other during such a season because you don't know. That's kind of like the all in all of the intimacy that you share with someone. For chicks, especially, I think the pressure has always been,
To satisfy the man.
Exactly.
You must satisfy the man.
That's been like the goal that we have been raised to aspire to. Of course, things are changing, we acknowledge that. But for the most part, in our context, that still strongly remains an almost default expectation. When you're married, it is the job of the woman to ensure that she is the everything for the man, especially sexually. Otherwise, he will wander. But the reality is there are women who are out there doing the thing, but the man still wanders. So just a side note, I just think that's also a very mental, psychological situation there. Because I believe adults are capable of self-control. Adults are capable of honoring their commitments. And adults, that's really what being adult is. You cannot expect life to throw at you responsibilities and then you're not being responsible for the responsibilities that you have, including the relationship with your person. So my perspective on intimacy is that it's not just sexual. There are different levels of intimacy. Because to me, intimacy is the pursuit of getting to know this person even more, even deeper, in even greater detail, and in all aspects of their life. So you're still getting to know them physically, you're still getting to know them on a mental level. You're still getting to understand their emotional, I don't know whether to call it a cycle or, just the ups and downs of how they respond emotionally.
Yeah.
Their perspectives on, just intellectual, mental thought processes, fresh ideas. Where is this person going? So there's all these many, many aspects that you can really just pursue and commit to. I want to get to know this person better. I want to get to know how their mind works better. I want to get to know their thought process. I want to take a step back and observe how they behave when they're upset, or maybe when they're very happy, or when they're anticipating something. Because you've seen and heard of situations whereby a couple, apparently they're so tight that they can communicate without words
telepathically
from across a large room. It's just a look.
Yeah.
And it's a look, it's a flicker of an eyebrow, it's a wink, it's a twitch, like the most subtle cue. And someone knows, okay, this person is not having a good time, or this person is really enjoying themselves. But you can only do that if you're in that space of wanting to get to know your person in every possible way there is to know them.
What you see.
Yes, beyond what you see. And also beyond the physical, rather the sexual intimacy, because there is a physical intimacy, and I think that's what I'm talking about. Those little facial gestures, slight movements, body language, understanding this person's body language. I mean, the way they walk into the house can tell you whether they've had a really fantastic day, whether they've had a really long day that just wanted to end, or whether they hit a dead end in some project they were pursuing. So even physical intimacy comes from understanding this person's body language. Emotional intimacy, of course, is about their moods and how they respond and react to different situations emotionally. And then, of course, there's the intellectual aspect where the person is also developing and growing, and their ideas and perspectives are changing, and you're kind of also keeping up with that in a way that I want to get to know this person. Now that this person of mine has learned about this, I wonder how this is going to affect them. Now that this person has upskilled, maybe, let's say, maybe you're not changing careers, but maybe you're changing, rather you're adding a certificate or whatever so that you can move to the next level of your career. So how does that new information, that new knowledge that your partner has received change them and how they perceive the world and their business and themselves? Because those little bits of information also change a person. So what we're talking about intimacy is that pursuit of getting to know this person. I've said so much. Gosh, Jesse, thank you for your ums and ahs in the background there.
So
tell us
that
your perspective. That's my perspective.
Is her perspective from that is a mental perspective, right? From the mind. Now let me tell you about the physical perspective. First things first, you gotta, as a dude, as it has been that, chicks are the ones to satisfy the guy all the time. And it is actually a two-way traffic here, man. If you're the only one who's receiving all the time, it's a turn off in a sense, because she will be in a routine. She just knows this man comes in at this time, this is what's going to happen. As long as he's happy, everyone else in the house is happy. But you're forgetting this woman also requires to be satisfied intimately.
Preach.
Do you understand? So you gotta clock it. You gotta do the research. You have to make sure you figure out how she functions so that you can achieve the ultimate intimacy. You understand?
And this is for your person.
And this is for your person.
And there's no general rule book that you can follow. So like
there's no general.
Each person is different.
There's no rule book, because I mean, depending on your sex game, or two, the conversations you have around having sex, because it's not it's not a trial and error kind of thing. You don't try this and then see if it works. You're like, you talk about it as it's happening, or you suggest things prior to. And because women, most of the time, before you get them to really now wanna go go in like hard, you have to start with the mind.
This is
the rules of engagements. Because us guys, I mean, just strip, that's it, we are ready. Fine, when you narrow it down to this person that you're with now, because at the end of the day, we want to narrow it down to that person. This lovely woman that you're with, of course, wants to experience it more joyously and engage with you, even as they are already mentally know that this is what's going to happen. There's always that enticing, entice someone, because they're very good at enticing us, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's this strategy that's always used in marketing.
Oh, wow.
Yes. It's called the S language. It's the sex language. If a woman is so good at her job, the first thing that appeals a guy is physical attraction, what he sees. If I'm attracted to that, then I have no problem, one, with approaching it and figuring out what exactly it wants. And even better, if they are confident enough to come and approach me and ask me what's up, now I'm gone. I'm just take my wallet here, have it. And so in that case, the same thing applies for you as a dude with your person. You have to be able to engage them mentally and also engage them physically, because again, they don't receive orgasms like we do. Us guys is one straight shot, like you don't even need to do much. But for women, it's you're built so magnum opus that you really have to find ways, because that level of intimacy, if you have stimulated the mind, then you can stimulate the body. You understand? That in itself increases the level of intimacy. And this is how most guys would engage, I would say, would rather engage a woman, your person, because they will have affections for you all the time, right? And because, again, once our tank is full, let's say we gotta go. But for women, it's different. You have to warm up. They have to warm up to you. Even if it's your person. It's so strange. I find it very ridiculous that it happens that way. But it's just how differently we are designed. We are actually designed very differently.
We really are. And I think part of it also has to do with the way in which women live in the world. We generally have a lot on our minds, a lot going on in our lives. If you're a wife and a mother, maybe you have house help and then you have work to do, and so you're juggling so many things and you're putting on so many hats so fast. And in all that, your women, I think we mentioned this in a previous podcast about men tend to get tired in one general way. They're physically tired, they're mentally tired because of how they function. But women, we also get emotionally tired in biological, mental, medical, scientific terms. They call it adrenal fatigue. So your adrenal glands are the ones that are responsible for releasing hormones so that you can feel a feeling. And so because women, we process life from a logical perspective, at the same time, we also process life emotionally. So we're running these two, it's like, I don't know, to use a bit of an IT term, it's like we're running two codes simultaneously. And at the end of the day, when a woman says, I'm so tired, like she's not just physically tired. She's tired physically, she's tired mentally, she's tired emotionally, and even in some cases, in a lot of cases, spiritually. Wow. And so the level of exhaustion is not just something that, okay, fine, I'll sleep, my mind will rest, or my body will rest, and I'll be fresh in the morning. Sometimes she's not fresh in the morning because her body needs just a little bit more time to do the complete decompression and healing and repair and recharging for the next day. So when women need, you hear them, you know what, just leave me alone. I just need 5 minutes. I just want to sit. Me time is such a huge thing for women because we hardly get it. I find that men easily find time for themselves. And even in relationships, it's so easy for men to assume that, oh, okay, the woman is home, so cooking will be done. Or, you know, it's just that thing where they hardly think about it because chances are the woman will prepare the meal, you know, ensure the house is organized, blah, blah, blah. Like all these domestic things are often just relegated almost by default to the woman. And so it gets very overwhelming. Like I had mentioned, you can imagine this is a wife, a mother, she probably has domestic help, and then she has a regular job, and she has to juggle all these things and ensure everything is functional in the house, including managing and the welfare of the DM who's not her family, but you know, the person is living under their roof if it's a living one, for example. So the kind of intimacy that Jesse is talking about here is about that understanding this person and kind of getting them out of
the routine,
that getting their head out of all the planning and organizing that they need to do, even if for just a few minutes, so that you can plant in thoughts of sexual intimacy, so that by the time, for example, I mean, listen, it's been said before, we're gonna say it again, don't feel any kind of way throwing her hints starting from morning. You know what I mean? Because again, you don't know what kind of day she's gonna have, and you don't know how it's gonna take her out. So get your bid in early, basically. You know, get your bid in early. I mean, as me that I am, those are things I personally appreciate, because in the middle of the day when I'm having just a moment, you know, I can always refer back to, oh my gosh, there's something I'm also looking forward to at the end of the day, for example, or at the point that I meet up with Jesse. So having just something to look forward to makes the weight of the day lighter. By the time I'm, you know, getting home, or rather getting out of the work routine, it's like, you know what, like my mind is at the place where I need to get all these things out of the way. You know, I need to hurry, send the kids to bed earlier than usual if I must, you know what I mean? Tell the house you don't have to wash dishes, just go, everybody go, you know what I mean? Because I'm mentally there, and therefore then there is ease with which then that process happens. But if we're both home, we come home late, we're both so tired, and you're trying to start something, man, sometimes it's just like, man, I can't even wrap my mind around still having one more activity. You know, at that point, it just feels like
an activity,
one extra activity. Why must we do this now? You know what I mean? But intimacy also develops in that space where you let that breathe and say, okay, you know what? Even sleeping next to each other comfortably, you know, cuddling is still a way of connecting. And I think that physical contact has been underestimated, the power of physical contact. Holding a hand, rubbing a shoulder, rubbing a back, hugging someone, like as my wonderful mom says, touch each other. Just touch one another. It doesn't have to be sexual. Just touch one another. Physical touch is such a huge thing. I mean, you see that we do it for babies all the time. We hug children and we kiss them and we embrace them and we touch their cheeks and we hold their hands and we just, that touch does such wonders psychologically, and especially as adults, because we face a whole lot more stressful situations than children do. We face craziness out there, and with this adulting being what it is, you know what I mean? Like, just come home and just touch your person and let your person touch you, and just that actually releases happy hormones in the body, which help the body heal, by the way, and repair itself and rejuvenate. So that's also another type of physical intimacy we're talking about, whereby you can touch your person in a very personal way. Like, I can touch Jesse without being sexual. There are ways in which I touch Jesse that I don't touch anybody else in this entire world. You know, not even the people who are uber closest to me. And it could be even in as simple as how I rub his back. I don't rub his back the way I rub anybody else's back. Even with my children, when I'm rubbing, I don't rub it the same way, because that's my touch for Jesse exclusively. You know what I mean? And that is a thing that, again, it's a thing of learning from one another, speaking about these things. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes I just want you to hold my hand. Just hold my hand when we're walking. Yes, okay, so P.S. Jesse is taller than I am, so when we're walking, I'm definitely taking smaller steps than he is, meaning that he has to slow his roll. And then he naturally is a very fast walker. He walks quite fast. So you can imagine him having first to slow down and then slow down again. You know what I mean? So he sometimes feels like he's moving like a snail. But for the sake of being there for me and having that moment with me, then he'll slow down. I mean, it's not taking his whole life, you know what I mean? It's just a few minutes of making something matter. And in those ways, then, your person is able to know you see them, you acknowledge them, you love them, you accept them. And there's nothing more beautiful than just being seen in all of who you are by your other person. And I think that really is the goal of intimacy, is that we're pursuing that, getting to know your person, all of who they are. Whether sexually, whether through physical contact, whether through intellectual, conversation, engagement of ideas, whether emotionally, watching the person and letting them know I see you is everything that intimacy is, I think, is all about.
You gotta start stimulating from the morning, like morning glory doesn't start in the morning. Sometimes
it starts last night.
It starts last night. If you give a good back rub,
there you go.
Tashughulikiwa asubuhi nzuri.
We're trying to build love here. We're trying to build love here, man. Love one another. Be nice to each other. Touch one another. See one another.
Feel. Yeah. You shall receive what is coming. Yes. Kwambia ukweli. People think it's a joke, but you get what you receive.
But it's so true. You reap what you sow.
Yeah, you reap what you sow.
That is so true. That is extremely true.
Just have fun with each other, man. This is what adult conversation is all about.
It's fun.
And if you want to explore different avenues of intimacy, you're free to do so. Crafting and personalizing it to your own person, you tend to discover a lot about each other. And in that sense, you then create your own intimacy codes that work for you guys.
Yeah.
It's okay to share where you feel you should. I'm not saying you do, but if it's adding value to the both of you, then go on an exploration journey. Because you're together till death you depart. You might as well have a fantastic ride.
I know.
You know what I'm saying?
Make it as
you gotta make
fun
it count.
as
You gotta
possible.
make it count. You gotta experiment. and
relax
and
and
relax
laugh.
as well, you know.
Please laugh. Sometimes it may work. Sometimes it may work. Sometimes
if it
may
won't
not.
work, you switch back to old school, man.
I
Ain't
know.
nobody
Go back to the default setting. I mean, it's
Venye mulianza tu.
yeah. Don't begrudge each other, and I think that's another thing. I hear a lot, and I've observed a lot, where now that we're on the topic of sex, where sex is weaponized, and by weaponized I mean that you use it against your person. So we've had an argument, and we've disagreed, and so I'm gonna withhold sex so that as punishment. You know what I mean? Like these, your person is your person is not your child.
Yeah.
You don't punish people who you don't punish your person. You discuss what the issue is.
Address the problem.
Address the issue so that you don't use. I mean, because sex is so much fun, and it can continually be fun. But then now you ruin something that's supposed, like the fun zone gets, polluted.
Bana.
You know what I mean? It gets ruined, and
to
so
the point whereby it's no longer exciting.
And by the way, using it as a weapon in that way actually can completely kill it.
Destroy
almost instantly.
The entire thing.
Because now these are things you can't go back from. For example, it's like if you have committed to a person, and maybe you expect loyalty and fidelity from your person, but they step out on you, and they have an affair or whatever. Going back to that space where you fully trusted them can really take a while. If you choose to work it out and forgive and work through it, then getting back to that place where you were at can be very challenging, but you can actually get there. But now you see, if you use sex for some crazy reason, you can never
rebuild that relationship.
You can never rebuild if you use sex as a weapon. It'll always be a weapon. Once it's weaponized, it's always going to be a weapon.
Yeah.
But once it's taken as a place of love and fun and getting to know each other, and it's kept there, then it thrives there as well. You know what I mean? And that becomes just a space whereby, for example, Jesse and I, you have an argument, you'll sort it out. You know what I mean? But never once is sex on the table. It's not for discussion. It's for fun. That's the only thing that it's there for. It's for fun and for having fun, and therefore, if it works, it's fun. If it doesn't work, it's also fun. And some days you're just like, let's try. Okay, I'm so tired. Aki, by the way, I'm tired. Aki, what have we tried? Let's just sleep. And it's and there's no begrudging it, because it's like, by the way, we're just tired. Let's just sleep. But I think there's also that expectation, like you have to be on all the time.
Yeah.
You don't.
And sometimes you really don't.
It's not practical.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's not practical.
So give room for that space to grow intimacy. Intimacy is actually something that's nurtured. It's something that you grow. It's something you invest in.
Yeah.
It's the time you take. But it can only grow in a place where there's open communication, where there's forgiveness, and also where there's trust. Because we're not perfect, so you have to trust your person, and you have to be trustworthy to your person as well. And then when things are not working out, work out the issues, like we've said before. Be respectful, don't harm each other, do no harm. And let the intimacy grow. Nurture physical, sexual, emotional, intellectual intimacy, and you will understand why people can stay together for 20, 30, 50, 60 years. Same person, still like each other, still having fun. You know what I mean? Like, it's because of that pursuit and keeping that space as sacred is. Because again, it's nobody's business. You can't be going and posting up your stuff out there. You can't. Yeah, please don't post intimacy.
Just a genie too.
And those words. And yes, please, just write in and let us know. If you have questions that maybe we can answer and address, topics you'd like us to talk about. But we just needed to throw this one in there because it's very central to Thriving relationships thrive because of intimacy. One of the things, I'm not saying it's the only thing, but one of the major things is intimacy. And so get it.
It's been real. Kumbuka to like, share and subscribe, and we shall catch you on the next one. Peace.